Well, hey there, YouTube. How's everybody doing out there today? Ready for the weekend? It's looking like a good weekend here in South Alabama, albeit hot weekend, but I got watermelons steady these days, so it's all good. Didn't really have any one particular subject today, just thought I'd finish the week with some raw vegan, whole food, plant-based Friday thoughts and seeing how this goes, and we'll see in the future. Might be something for me to do and do more of, because there's times where I'm ready to make a video or out throughout the week. I'm always making notes on my phone. I don't know if anybody else does that. I make notes about lots of various things on my phone, but sometimes during the week I'm writing things down and I don't have enough, like I come up with one subject or I have one thought and it's not enough to make a video of, but then when I put them together, might do it. So that's what I thought I would do today, and just talk a little bit. And it might explain me a little bit better to some people out there that might be new to the channel. Number one, I'm not dogmatic about any of this stuff. I just like to share. I just like to share health related stuff. I like to share diet stuff, and just get more people interested in a plant-based diet. And the thing is, I talk about plant-based, whole food plant-based, and not necessarily raw as much or more than even raw, is because I'm realistic about people. I just don't think that's what a lot of the raw people that are really adamant, that are really into the dogma, don't get. I'm not saying don't do raw. I'm not saying not even trying to argue that it might be the best, but I'm talking about what people are actually going to do. Because I've told you many times I'm a numbers guy, and if you start breaking down statistics on the planet, like when you get down into there, there's a small percentage of people on the planet that are vegetarian. Okay, the next step, there's a very small amount of people on this planet who are vegan, fully plant-based. And then even niched further down, it's just a tiny, minute bunch of people that are actually raw. And a lot of the people telling you doing raw, they're kind of fidgeting a little bit. There's not that many fully raw people out there, although they do exist. But like I say, I just talk about that because I'm realistic. And I want to be as inclusive as possible. Because if I'm just being so narrow to kind of preach to a very segmented, only the raw people. And once you figured out the raw, why are you still watching videos and doing all that kind of stuff? Just go eat raw. But I think it will appeal to more people, possibly attract more people when you're just sharing the big picture and not going in hard on the raw part of it. Because honestly, out of whether you're whole food plant-based, whether you're raw, I consider the most important part of this diet. I won't say the most important. I mean, like I say, I took some notes, but I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. So maybe not the most important, but for me, fiber and diversity. Fiber and diversity in your diet, I think, is going to give you more health advantages, health benefits than anything else out there. Mostly, I might be missing something, but mostly. And there, like I say, there's no reason that you can't do that on a raw food diet. Although, like I say, I do eat legumes and there are certain things I eat, but you can get all that diversity within the raw, but there's just some people that don't seem to make that connection. They just want they want to eat a very few things. And hey, if you go back and watch older videos of mine, like I say all the time, I'm always evolving. I'm always moving forward. Yes, I go back and look at videos where I'm not contradicting what I've said before, but there's just I put importance on different things. And, even back then, I was never one that just lived on mono meals or tried to eat one thing and that's just not good when you're narrowing it down and you're just like, okay, well, I ate 3 things today, and you're doing that on a regular basis. We need that variety for our gut biome. If you're not reading Fiber Fueled, at least go to Google and just start reading some stuff on how we, number one, make our gut microbiome stronger, healthier, and also just read why. Read how much your gut biome affects your body. I mean, there's still times that I come up with things, like I was talking with somebody recently who has fibromyalgia. And then I got digging a little deeper, another one, autoimmune. It's a gut issue. And so many things are involved with the gut. And we're just not going to get the gut microbiome we need if we're not putting diversity in there. Lots of different colors, lots of different good things. Sharing with others, that's one I was thinking about too. Now let me get into another one really first too, that like I said, these are just random thoughts today, and I maybe can explain some things about me and some different stuff. But also too, I've been, I sometimes at night I'm just sitting around thinking about things, and I've thought recently over the last several months or so, it's finally dawned on me, like why this thing might just be a lot easier for me, and why I can't relate to a lot of people even when they're asking me questions and I'm kind of dumbfounded because we're not speaking the same language. And it's for a reason. I mean, as I've shared on here before, since I've been vegan for 10 years. I went vegan in San Jose, Costa Rica back in 2012. Actually, this month, I think a couple of weeks, is officially 10 years. And I started doing the math and going back. It's not just been the last couple or 4 years. No, I've been in the States 5 years now. I'm by myself. I've pretty much, I would say since the day I went vegan, I've probably eaten, I guarantee you, I've eaten 90% of the food, the meals, everything I've taken in by myself. So I don't have a social aspect when it comes to, switching over and doing a plant-based diet, or even going the next step and being raw. And I never want to discourage anybody, but I can see how it can be daunting, and sometimes even in my head I'm like, now how does that person that do that? Like one of the cases I see a lot of time is a woman will decide, start going raw vegan, and she has a partner that's not interested in it, and has children to feed that are not interested in it. So you've got a whole household that you're this one person. The rest of the household's doing this. There's social aspects to it. Maybe you're taking your kids to functions, you're doing things, you're interacting with other people. Maybe you got school events, church events, sporting events, or just, family events. And you kind of want to fit in, and there's a lot more temptation there, where with me it's just me. That's why I went that's why sometimes I just don't get it. Like I went very, very high raw vegan from the beginning, and the weight just kind of all flipped for me, but because like I say, I didn't have that social aspect to it. So always know that I am aware of that, and then that's just always going to have to be a part that you deal with. So if there's somebody out there that's kind of in that situation, you're the only person in your household, you're the only person in your social group. It extends past that. Well, we're not just talking about your family, your children, your partner, whatever. Most people don't have any other vegans in their social circles. And if you want to stay social, you have to work a little harder to do it. It can be done. Like I quit, you can go to bars. I don't drink anymore. I quit drinking in 2012 too, but like I drink club soda or something if I'm out at a gathering. I can always find something to eat, because even before I went vegan, when I'm at social gatherings, the food or that kind of stuff is not the reason I'm there. I'm there to interact with people. But like I say, you've got to navigate that and figure out how to do that yourself. And I was also thinking about this week sharing this lifestyle with others, whether it be raw vegan or whole food plant-based. And I think I mentioned in that last video the person with the fibromyalgia, and it was somebody else that wanted to lose a lot of weight. I'm not going to recommend. You've got to be a little bit more creative with who you recommend, and you have to you don't recommend the same person to different people. In other words, I would not recommend that you recommend me. Because if you have a person that's living in a normal world, doing their normal thing, and even if they do have health issues or they have a lot of weight to lose, they're going to see an old hippie on YouTube, or they're going to see, even though I'm an old hippie, they're going to see a lot of these people on YouTube, and they're going to be like, are you out of your mind? Or especially like you recommend some of these little scrawny, vegans that are like, all I'm talking about is being realistic. If you recommend some of these little scrawny vegans that are doing nothing but talking about fasting, cleansing, I'm living on grapes for 30 days, 40 days, these people are going to think you're nuts. They're going to think you're nuts, and they're just going to dismiss it right off the bat. So I never, unless people write to me and are actually asking a question about the raw aspect of it, when I'm giving out health to just people that are not even vegan, I use plant-based sources. I don't even mention the word plant-based. A lot of times I just sneak that in there. I say, hey, why don't you read Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Die? Or why don't you read Dr. Bulsiewicz's Fiber Fueled? And these things, like number one, for the general public, these guys actually have MDs, but they are vegan. They're vegan, they have MDs, and they're giving you some good solid science and stuff. Whereas a lot of your raw vegan manuals and manuscripts and stuff are a little bit more woo-woo and I'm not necessarily dismissing them, but what I'm saying is you've just got to pick the kind of material for the person you're dealing with. And like I say, I think when you ease people into it, like you could ease people in, you can still go in for the raw a little bit later, but like I say, I think people tend to take certain sources a little bit more serious than others in the beginning. But that's just my 2 cents on that, and all these things are just my 2 cents. Unlike a lot of people that just put content out in general, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing, but I'm not certain about a lot of things. I'm not one of those people that I know things and I'm going to tell you this is that. I'm searching just like the rest of you. I'm not an authority or an expert on anything. I'm not telling you how to eat like I do. I'm telling you to think for yourself, but know why you're doing what you're doing, and always be seeking, just kind of like I'm doing. So anyhow, have a beautiful weekend. Hopefully see you next week, and yeah. Peace.